We are doing another one, our final one on Trafford addenda, which means things added on. We're going to see some things that, parts of the story of Trafford. This was the original Stuart station. This is looking east on the railroad, the main line. I want you to pay attention to this road going across the main line. Again, looking east on the main line. This is that road going across. This was the home of one of the Stuarts. Now this is that road. The railroad built an underpass. This is the railroad going this way. This house up on the hill will be seen in our next frame. That's the house. That's First Street going under the railroad. This building here was the post office and a store, a general store. This is that very building, two guys standing in front. And the reflection in the window is across the street, the station, the railroad station. That's a guy who worked at the station, David Berlin. He was a telegrapher. He operated the telephone key, the telegraph key. This is a nice shot of Trafford up on the hill and the factory over here. This is the main line going through, and the branch line, Turtle Creek branch, going up to Murraysville and so on. This over here is the railroad station, and over here is SZ Tower, which controlled the interaction of traffic on the main line and the branch line going up to Murraysville and places beyond. This is SZ Tower. This down here was the railroad station. It became a railroad, or rather a lumber company. First Street coming over, it goes down underneath the railroad. This is the main line. Westinghouse plants in 1979, but it didn't last forever. Several years during the 80s, they started to shut things down there. This is the buildings. They're still there, but they're, you can see parts of them put up for lease or auction, or, you know, when you see these signs, they're showing the square footage, trying to sell or lease the property. This was Trafford in the background. This was part of the high voltage testing lab that Westinghouse had. They were making switching equipment for very high voltage and high amperage current, stuff that would turn off and on a whole city. And like this thing here produced 1,600 volts, 600,000 volts, 1,600,000 volts. That's the inside of the testing lab. We're going to see a operation in Trafford that was not Westinghouse, the Lind Air Products division that was up in here. This was begun in 1910. Lind Company extracted oxygen from the air we breathe, you know, regular atmospheric air, and sold it to places like hospitals and welders. This is the same outfit when it was being built around 1910. This was Lind operation here. This is a 1929 map. The railroad going through, and this is a Y, W-Y-E. This gives the name to the BY area, which is Blackburn Y. Y is a track configuration, a railroad track configuration. This is Lind Air Products, 1925. This is part of the track configuration, the Y, over here. This is Lind Air Products, the railroad going by, Turtle Creek coming down. Now here we have an actual picture of a Y, and it shows why it's called a Y, because it's Y-shaped. The next thing we'll see will be the pond beside Blackburn Y, which is called BY Pond. And here it is in wintertime. It's one of those shots. I'd like to thank the guy who took that shot, because it's a really great one, showing the interaction of people having a good time in wintertime, good time interacting with nature and one another. And this in the background is the Turtle Creek Branch Railroad going up. Now this is contemporary times. This is the BY Park, and this is the old pond that's still there. This over here, Money Mike's Fleetique, which used to be the Lind Air Products. From the air in 1949, Trafford down here, the Westinghouse plant, and this is part of the Pitcairn Railroad Yards, Pennsylvania Railroad Yards, named after Robert Pitcairn, who was division manager of the railroad. This is just a close-up showing the railroad yards, the Westinghouse plant, the whole town. Once again, giving the extent of Pitcairn yards, both a classification yard and a repair yard. We'll get a look again. This is Forbes Road going out here, and along Forbes Road was a brick making operation. The old-fashioned kilns and the chimneys making bricks from about 1903, when Westinghouse started to build their factory. This is Westinghouse's little railroad, which was operated to carry things back and forth between Westinghouse's East Pittsburgh division and the plant up at Trafford. Coming down the Turtle Creek Branch from up in Murraysville, you can see that they had passenger cars on there. That railroad was carrying people in addition to other freight. Also on wheels around Trafford were trolley cars. This is the same area. This was a trolley from the Pittsburgh Railways Company. These are trolleys from the West Penn Railways outfit. And you can see the competition is starting to move in. Automobiles. Automobiles were a big factor in putting the trolleys out of business. And we're seeing some of the original buildings in Trafford when they were being built by Westinghouse. Westinghouse built these things for their employees. The original mom and pop shop. It was a bakery, Frank Gradich's bakery. You see one of the elder fire company outfits, 1929. Drum and Bugle Corps, one of the early schools. And these are the guys who were building a road between Trafford and Pitcairn. And I want to say, some people look down on guys like this, but these are guys to look up to, because these are the guys who built the world that you live in. And we've said about enough on Trafford, and I'm going to push a button and say so long now. Bye.